Hey, it's Jordan. I'm here in front of Rutgers University in New Brunswick. You got students, faculty out, 9,000 workers in total on day 2 of this Rutgers faculty strike. They've gone without a contract for about a year. And like in other universities, California last year, they're basically fighting for livable wages, better benefits, protections. Actually, on behalf of students also, I'm here with Alex and Nafi. You're both juniors at Rutgers. Tell me, as students, why is everybody out here really supporting the faculty?
Well, it's a very simple answer. For what we all come here, we are here first as students, and we're here to learn. That being said, our professors, I have a lot of professors, some on the tenure track, but some who are PTLs and adjuncts who frankly don't have a living wage. These are professors that, deserve equal pay for equal work, who contribute a lot, who help me further my education, and yet they do not get the pay, the wage that they deserve. And frankly, it's appalling. And that's why I'm here today.
And I've read actually that there's quite a few of them on food stamps, quite a few faculty, postdoc researchers living in their cars. You don't really think about that when you think of academia. You think people are generally doing okay.
Exactly. Personally, I'm in Rutgers Business School, so while all of his classes might be canceled, I still have some of mine that are still running. And although, I still love my teachers and I support them, the main issue that I've noticed in RBS is that a lot of kids are wondering where the money is going, because a lot of our money goes towards academics, all right? Personally, I'm not too versed on everything that Holloway is saying, everything that the union is saying. We're talking about it every day in class, but all we do know is that Rutgers makes a lot of money, all right? And they have the money that they should be giving to these adjuncts and our professors who are not tenured and all of our workers. We're giving millions towards our football program, whatever it might be, all right? And I do think that they deserve it, but our teachers deserve it more. I'm paying for an education, and I think that's what I deserve, just like they deserve equal pay. And that's what we're all out here.
Talk about, for those that don't know, this is the 8th oldest college in America, 1766. Can you kind of talk about the quality that you feel, your adjunct professors, some of these researchers, how hard do they work? Do you think they are, above other universities in terms of their teaching? Talk about the quality of the education you think you're getting from them.
Yeah, I can absolutely talk about that. Our first year, unfortunately, due to the COVID pandemic, what resulted in a lot of us being taught online. I found that a lot of my professors, including those that were PTLs and adjuncts, were some of the most friendly and easy to talk to professors that I could reach out to them over email. I could always set up a Zoom conversation with them, and they would always be happy to help me. These professors, they do it for, these wages that aren't frankly enough for what they contribute. And yet they're putting their heart and soul to make sure we learn our materials. In fact, one of the most educating classes that I ever took was taught by an adjunct. It was UK politics. We did some activities that were a little unorthodox. We held a mock parliament session. Frankly, something so out of the box and unorthodox that I frankly never had with a tenured professor. That was from a PTL. And it's crazy. These professors are putting their heart and soul to their work because they love it. They want to educate us, and nobody goes into teaching for the pay. At least not anymore, with how education and academia is making it so more and more professors are adjuncts. But these professors are sticking it out because they love their craft. They love us, the students, and that's why I'm here. Once again, they put their heart and soul to teach us, and I'm honestly so grateful for that.
And you mentioned sports. I've been to a Rutgers game before. It's a very nice stadium. It seems like, state of the art, a lot of things. You got beautiful statues and landscaping and concerts before. That's probably expensive. Whereas some adjuncts are making poverty wages. You have postdoc researchers who are saying, I want to continue, but I'm going to have to go work for Microsoft or something because I can't afford. How does it affect the students if faculty can no longer stay in the profession?
Well, if faculty can't do their job or aren't being paid in a way that allows them to live, we're not going to have any of these extracurricular events like awesome concerts, football games, whatever it might be, because we're not going to class. We're not paying for our literal degree. And a lot of my adjuncts back when I was in SAS, they were master's students or grad students who would go above and beyond and always like give us their email or personal number and say, I know you rarely see your professor because they're teaching like 500 kids in a gen bio or chem course. These students would go above and beyond and always tell, okay, contact me whenever you're confused, blah, blah, blah. I know it's going to be very hard because your professor might get thousands of emails. And they always made themselves available. So I feel like it's just right that we support them. I mainly love that a lot of our budget is going towards, who's the football coach again? What was his name? Shiano?
Shiano gets about a few million every year.
With a private helicopter. I was shocked mainly. My parents were also shocked when we found out how much he made. But, I mean, that money could easily have gone towards this, but Rutgers didn't choose to do that.
What do you think? Because I was talking to somebody else who said there's a lot of excess kind of middle management, a lot of duplicative positions atop the university, kind of bureaucracy that's not needed. I'm not calling for people to be laid off, but basically they're saying you could cut some of the fat on the executive level, some of the pay, and give that to teachers, researchers, adjunct, etc.
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes with any institution, especially one that's like a colonial college like Rutgers, you're going to have an institution that's been here for centuries, decades, right? There's always going to be some fat you can trim at the top because that's just the nature of the beast. I took the liberty of just researching some of the salaries for some of the higher up positions at Rutgers, and what I found was honestly kind of shocking. President Holloway's salary is $1 million a year. $1 million a year with the house that he is able to live in and reside in on campus. And, you know, what is to say, you know, what is it that we can't allocate some of these individuals exorbitant salaries to pay our professors to be able to not have to go on food stamps, to be able to not have to live, you know, 30, 45 minutes away or reside closer to shorten their commutes, to make it so that they're actually able to afford being a human being. That is doable, and the university doesn't want to do that, and that's why they hire their anti-union buster attorneys to resolve the problem for them, a problem that they don't want to fix themselves.
Hey, it's Jordan. I'm here at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. There's students, faculty out as the second day of faculty strike. You got 9,000 workers with 3 unions that are on strike. A 4th one might be going on strike soon over a lot of the same issues with wages, benefits, student protections that you're seeing at other universities. I'm here with Lori Lefevre.
That's correct.
So we got fair contract. Talk about why you're out here. Are you with the university? And give people the background on this has been going on for a year, this impasse and no contract.
I'm actually from Montclair State University, standing in solidarity with my brothers and sisters at AFT. These guys have been fighting this battle for 10 months and they're not getting anywhere. The management is standing strong, but so are we. We're standing stronger. So we came down from North Jersey to stand solid with these folks so that they can get some movement on what we need to live a living wage, to have a living wage.
You know, it's kind of glaring. I mean, Rutgers is a very nice university, great sports stadium, beautiful buildings, but there's a lot of faculty, postdoc researchers. I've read some live in their cars, others are on food stamps. I mean, this is academia. You don't really think of that. What is with this discrepancy? Because the university officials are doing pretty well, but it seems like the rest on the bottom end are not.
It's the corporatization of education, the bottom line. And if you can hire adjuncts, because that's who I represent, the adjuncts, the part-time workers, if you could get them for a cheaper rate, of course you do. We teach almost 70% of the classes on every campus in New Jersey. So it's, you know, the bottom line. And it's to build athletic stadiums and keep the athletes in the forefront. I don't begrudge them. I think the athletes are amazing and they do a great job for the university, but they forget about the students. They became consumers.
And also, I mean, how are you supposed to effectively teach if you can't afford to live where you're or even near where you're teaching. With inflation, the housing crisis, New Jersey is some of the hottest housing market and rental market, but also quite expensive.
We love our students. People say get a different job, but we can't. We love to serve our students, and many of the adjuncts are working at other jobs outside, so we bring a wealth of experience to the classroom that some full-time people can't, because they're, teaching every day and working full-time, but we're out there in the real world doing real-world things, and sometimes academia forgets about us.
Can you also talk about, in terms of the grad students who work here, adjunct faculty, what are kind of some of the things they're having to kind of go without to keep working? Because you have people working multiple jobs, but if you're not making enough, you're also sacrificing and making choices.
You're going without job security, and you get terminated every single semester for their, management priorities, I don't know what, or the procedures. But we don't have job security. We're not sure if we're going to come back. And if college enrollment is down, our jobs are on the line, and there's no guarantee that we're going to get a job the next semester. So it's a stressful way to live. But again, I got to go back to the people that do this work, love their students, they love sharing their talents, and they're some of the most accomplished people that you're going to meet, the grad students, the adjuncts. They're out there living their real world life and bringing it to students. They're just not getting paid for that.
Can you kind of talk about, because the school will say, well, if we raise wages, if we do affordable housing for workers, tuition's going to go up, almost like they have that's automatic. Well, why does tuition have to go up significantly? I mean, aren't they getting pretty nice salaries atop the university? Can you kind of talk about, does tuition actually have to go up significantly to afford increased wages and protections?
It's so hard to say, because there's so many middle manager people now because of this corporatization. There's people upon people upon people. I used to know my chairperson. I'm not really sure who that is anymore, because there's 3 other people that I need to speak to. So there's all of those salaries that are involved. I don't believe that tuition has to go up significantly. I mean, hey, everything has to go up. But I don't think it has to go up that significantly if they look at all these different people that they're hiring for different jobs that a lot of the times we don't know what they do. They're supporting somebody else and supporting somebody else. So I think it's an overhaul, a whole administrative overhaul that needs to be looked at. And as you can see, William Patterson is in financial trouble across the state. Jersey City, we've been at rallies for them, because it's the mismanagement of money. And I know Governor Murphy knows very well about that, and he's, I believe, up with them talking right now.
Basically what you're saying, if they've loaded up with bureaucrats, probably duplicative positions, a lot of them having not a major job function, but they're nickel and diming on adjuncts, postdoc researchers, which hurts the students eventually.
And the backs of students. Ultimately, it goes down to it trickles down to the students. So if they took a look at their management systems, perhaps they could find a little more money for the people that really need it.
And also, this is a historic university. I think it's the 8th oldest in America, 1766. So it's technically still affordable if you live in New Jersey as a state school. But if the faculty can't afford to work here, how's that going to affect students who, if you live here, I mean, you can come from out of state and pay more, but if you live here, part of it is this is probably more affordable than going to a private school out of state.
So their education suffers, because if the adjunct or the grad student or the teaching assistant is stressed, they're not getting a good product. So really, the whole consumer thought about it, you lose. Because you can't give the attention to your students, because you're worrying about how you're going to eat, you're worrying about your health care, which is non-existent when you're an adjunct. Even Starbucks gives their people health care for 20 hours a week, and we're doing 20 hours at maybe 3 or 4 universities.
And lastly, can you talk about the overall, I mean, I don't want to call education a scam, but at this point, I mean, you're gonna graduate, if you're lucky, with less than $100,000 in student loan debt, and then go into this abyss we kind of have a new Gilded Age. We hear the economy is great, but we know about income inequality, housing is out of control, Wall Street's buying up homes and then jacking up the rent. The millennials, Gen Z are kind of screwed. You care so much about the students. What kind of economy are we sending them out into?
I don't know, but all I do know is that this generation is going to do it smarter. I don't believe they're going to go into debt, so I think that's why they're here with us. Like, come on, like, let's get real about this so that they can have a middle-class life that we had when we were growing up. So I'm hoping that they help us turn around the heads that are mismanaging a lot of stuff. So,
do you think that's why so many undergrads are out, even though they're not the workers? They see it affects them.
Yes, I believe that they are smarter than we give them credit for. That they are supporting us because they see that they don't want to be in the situation that we're in. So they're really trying to be proactive in helping move this in the right direction.